what everybody else wants me to say.
'Cause your mama's name was lonely.
Can you look at me for a second?
'Cause you never loved.
No, wait! Hey, look at me! I see you. I see you.
So first off, I want to say I did watch the movie, and it is simply amazing.
Thank you.
I want to go into the different levels I'll say that you reached. I feel like for my generation especially, trying to live out our parents' dreams. That's what I took from it. Even though it is a romance, the one thing that I definitely focused in on was the children always trying to fix the parents' mistakes.
I mean, I think it's one, I'm fascinated by how much we're affected by our childhood, how much influence our parents have, both positive and negative. And I thought it was interesting to deal with two adults at that age you're talking about, both Kaz and Noni, who both have parents that are pushing them, but one is a healthy relationship and one is very unhealthy. And,
Right.
and you find when parents are trying to put so much of themselves into their children, how damaging that can be. And me having two kids, you know, I find myself fighting that as well, of trying to let them be their own person, but you think you know better.
Yeah.
But it's a very fascinating thing, and again, there comes a point where as a grown up, you have to break free from your parents, but it's difficult. Both break free physically, but also emotionally as well.
Now, Gugu, I have to ask you, how was it working with Nate Parker?
I sense you're a fan.
Maybe. Just a little bit.
Yeah, no, Nate was wonderful to work with. He's a real actor. He really cares about his craft, and he's you know, committed, and you know, has an intensity and a really grounded quality about him.
Okay.
You know, which is great and perfect for the role of
Yes.
Kaz. You know, who's the
Yes.
character that kind of is able to stabilize Noni in this toxic world that she's living in. So so yeah, he was great to work with.
Throughout the movie, you go from, you know, the weaves, the nails, the push-up bras, all of the superficial things that a lot of people associate with being successful, and then you transform into who you are as a woman. And I want to know, is that a transition that you had to deal with on your own?
You know, I never had purple weave, and it was the first time I'd ever had to wear fake nails. So I think for me, it was kind of an imaginative journey, because, you know, the real me is kind of, you know, just visually as much closer to the Noni we see at the end, her true self, you know. I feel really fortunate in that I didn't grow up in a sort of shiny showbiz world where I felt you know, the pressure or the necessity to have those adornments. But at the same time, you know, I can appreciate how, you know, people use hair, makeup, glamour as armor, really. And that was what was interesting to me, is, you know, what are you covering up? And I think for Noni and for me, it was really interesting to discover the idea of your sense of self and self worth, you know, and that to know that you are good enough just as you are. For me, you know, it was fun to dress up in all of these costumes and outfits, but it was also kind of tough, because I was really glad that I didn't have that as my everyday persona, because it's a lot of work.
Oh my goodness.
And you know, we worked with amazing hair and makeup team, who I have to give credit to, because
the hair was flawless.
you know, Anita Gibson and Kim Kimball, who, makeup and hair respectively.
And Sandra Hernandez with the costumes.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so they really, you know, helped me transform, and that helps with your acting as well. You know, when you have a physical, you know, difference, you know, with the shoes, it changes how you walk and all of that kind of thing.
This is true.
But yeah, it's very different to my natural style. I don't have that much time. I don't have that much time to spend.
For women, I would say, especially watching the movie with the transition, the journey is amazing. And I think it is a journey that a lot of women are battling today, because when we look at media, we do see the first Noni, right? That's what we idolize as being beautiful. So was there a message that you were also trying to send to younger women, or to women in general, about the process of becoming beautiful?
No, absolutely. And that was one of the reasons why we pushed to have this movie PG-13, because we wanted young women to see it. Because right now, growing up, all you see are reality shows, and you see anything in advertising, everything is just so hypersexualized and it's becoming normal. And we really, with this film, wanted to change that conversation and show something different. And it's so important, again, to be true to yourself. And this character, Noni, who had to fake it for so long, she really has lost her soul, and that's what gets her up on that balcony that night. So the whole film is this young woman trying to find her authentic self and her voice, but not only that, but be comfortable in that as well. And that's a tough thing sometimes for girls, to understand that who you are is good enough. And if nothing else, I really hope that's what young girls get out of this film.
Now the cast.
Yes.
Everyone was selected perfectly.
Thank
How
you.
was it working on set with Danny Glover and Abe Parker and just everyone in general?
I mean, for me, I have to mention also Minnie Driver.
Yes.
Because, you know, I worked so intimately with her, and, you know, I had such a wonderful time working with her. And even though that toxic sort of mother-daughter dynamic that we were trying to achieve, you know, she was so fun to work with, and really, you know, intense when she needed to be intense, but also kind of, you know, playful when she needed to be playful. And, you know, also being a fellow Brit on the set, it was nice to sort of bond over that. And Danny Glover, unfortunately, this is the second time I've worked with Danny Glover, but not actually had a scene with him. So, but I absolutely adore him. I mean, he just brings such a gravitas and such a grounded, you know, sort of father figure to the movie. And of course, MGK,
Yes.
who plays Kid Culprit, who was just wonderful, so naturally charismatic and really from the music industry. So really helped give us a sense of that authenticity, because that's his world.
Right.
So it was really, really fun working with him as well.
Well, I can say, like I said, when we watched the movie, it was something you can watch from beginning to end. I'm telling everyone about it already.
I need you.
Don't you worry,
You need me.
I'll teach you to fly before you fall.